Hi, Chris Mc Loone here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this episode of our podcast where we're going to be talking to members of FEMSA today. That is the Fire and Emergency Manufacturers and Services Administration. It's an organization that maybe the fire service doesn't know as much about, and so we're going to be talking a little bit today about FEMSA, its origins, a little bit about what it does, why it's important to the fire service. And today my guests are Peter Askey. He is the president of FEMSA, and he's also the president of Ricochet, and Karen Emory, who is the vice president of FEMSA and is president of High Tech Fire and Safety Incorporated. So both of you, thank you very much for taking some time out today to talk about FEMSA. It's an organization that I've been familiar with for a while because I've been attending your annual fall meeting. And one of the things that I've always liked about it as someone who covers the market is I hear so much about, your customers, what their struggles are, what their challenges are. One of the great things about attending that I've always felt is that I get a chance to get an idea of what your challenges are as suppliers to the industry, which I also think is critically important. But I guess just to get us started today, for those who might not be aware of FEMSA and what it does and its history, could you just give me a real quick rundown of what FEMSA is and what it does for the fire service?
Sure, Chris, thanks. FEMSA basically is a group of manufacturers, dealers, and service providers that are all focused on one thing, and that's the fire service. And all of our companies they may have other products that they sell to other industries, but the FEMSA component is focused on the fire service and emergency services and responses. And all those companies are looking for ways to learn about the industry and make sure we understand our customers better and also make our companies better. So we do things like help educate on leadership, help educate on other sales techniques, anything like that we do as an organization. We also try to educate on where the government is. We have a government affairs committee that helps us understand what's going on in Washington, D.C., and also at our state governments to help us, find funding properly and make sure everybody understands how important the fire service is to our everyday lives.
Now, what you just described is a pretty diverse group of people. When you talk about your members, like a lot of associations, they will be focusing on one particular aspect of an industry. For example, maybe the trucks themselves. When you get into equipment, you're talking about all sorts of different things. You're talking about PPE. You're talking about extrication equipment. You're talking about all and I say PPE, but there are a number of different components to the PPE, not only the garments themselves, but the fabrics that are used to craft those garments. So there's really, and we're also talking about, for example, Karen, what you do, we're talking about dealers and distributors as well for the fire service. So talk a little bit, Karen, I'll throw it over to you. Talk a little bit about that diversity within FEMSA and why that diversity is important.
Well, it is very diverse. You're dealing with hose manufacturers and small mom and pop shops like myself, big companies. So it's nice to bring everyone together. The diversity allows collaboration, in my opinion. I'm able to have a question about something that I do not know a lot about. We could be networking at the hospitality suite, and I'll see one of the mills that makes the fabrics. And I have a question, or a customer asks me a question. It's way up the chain of what my education is. So I walk over and I say, hey, how you doing? Customer asked me about this. Why? Why is it like this? They can explain it. You're there. There's too much knowledge to be known in this industry. I don't know all of it. So when you're in a room full of people that everyone has those tidbits of information and you could talk as a group, or just ask questions for those things that I know I'm not going to take the time to figure out. It really allows me to do my job better to help first responders. The whole idea behind this is to provide the safest, best products for first responders. And the boots on the ground do not always touch the heads of companies and that sort of thing. So which is why I think distribution is important in this group, because they talk to the boots on the ground and they do have access to these manufacturers that make these materials or these hoses or any of this loose PPE. So the collaboration is something that really stands out for me. It answers questions I don't know where else I would have gotten reliable answers for.
Peter, how about you? Where do you see the diversity coming in?
I think the nice part is there's so many different aspects of the industry that get covered. There's technology out there that is new to the industry. There's services that we provide, the companies in our association provide, manufacturing, the old school manufacturing of fabrics or hose or, equipment, anything that you can think of that's used in the fire service, our customers make. And the thing that brings us all together is we're trying to support the fire service, right? So when we get together, we're thinking about ways to better that relationship with the fire service. We work with the International Association of Fire Chiefs. We work with the union. We work with, I-Chiefs is really important to us. And we try to get as much information from these organizations and then disseminate that to our members so that they can make good decisions and help the industry grow and prosper. So I think that's really helpful.
Karen, you mentioned this group being critical for you because you can go to say the fabric manufacturer to talk about a question that maybe you couldn't answer for your customer. And throughout this so far, you both have talked about the customers, which are the first responders, the firefighters on the ground. And so I guess where I'm going to go with this one is as a firefighter, or for firefighters who don't know FEMSA right now, why should they be aware of FEMSA and what you do?
Well, I think it's important because we're there for them. We want to give them what they need when they're out on the fire ground or EMS call or whatever it may be. There can be a disconnect sometimes when you're dealing with corporations and first responders. And this allows us to join everyone together to know what they really need. In fact, our annual meeting, we have someone speaking about just being a firefighter and literally saying, manufacturers, this is what we need. They're coming in to discuss this with us. So firefighters, the more access they have to us and they know us, the more feedback and conversation we can have. Sometimes firefighters will ask me, why can't you do this, Karen? There's a very good reason why you can, but they don't see it. So it's such a unique situation to bring everybody together. But firefighters, I do think, should have a knowledge of us and should utilize us, to be honest with you, because we do have the resources to help them get everything that they truly will help them for their safety and to do a better job. So we do actually at our annual meeting invite also the local fire departments to come in to speak. We have panels where firefighters and fire chiefs will sit up at the dais and answer questions for the industry. And it's a great back and forth to what they're looking for. So we as manufacturers and distributors and the industry can fill the need. I mean, that's really what we want to accomplish there.
One of the things that the firefighters may have seen that they may not know is FEMSA, but the user information guides that are attached to their gear are something that we've done for many years now. As an industry, we tried to figure out how to make sure we were delivering all the right information to firefighters about safety and how to use our gear and PPE, particularly structural fire gear, but all the other different types of gear, wildland gear, EMS gear, tech rescue gear, helmets, boots. All those things have user information guides that we've prepared and keep current based on the standards and when they change. And members of our organization can use those user information guides on their products, and many of them do. So some have their own, but most use the industry sort of groups information guides. So I think those are also very helpful and maybe a contact that they don't realize they're having with FEMSA, but they are.
I think that's really, Karen, what you just brought up, that communication between the local departments for wherever the annual meeting is taking place and the FEMSA members is really one of those critical things. And like I said before, it is also an opportunity to maybe explain, some of the challenges that you're. I mean, we're seeing some things in the industry right now that have gotten a lot of attention. and that it's a great way for you all to communicate back to the departments. So sort of what like, okay, we feel you, we know where you're coming from, and this is our side of it. I wanted to talk a little bit more about those UIGs. Just to clarify, if is there a way for fire departments or firefighters to get those UIGs, even if they are not part of some equipment that was delivered? Is there a place that they can go to request them?
They're housed on our website, and typically you need some sort of a code to access them. But if you were to reach out to FEMSA and tell us, hey, I'm a firefighter, I need this code, we can give you access and send you access to those things. Yes. They can reach out to FEMSA and get that access.
Okay. Wanted to talk a little bit more, not only at what happens at the annual meeting, but just a little bit more about the networking opportunities that all the member companies of FEMSA have. Not only on because we talk about the annual meeting and some of the examples that you brought up, Karen, but I have to think that there's an awful lot that goes on at the dealer level for dealers. That are also that also have an opportunity to network, and that networking ultimately will benefit the fire service overall. So Peter, talk to me a little bit more about those networking opportunities that FEMSA provides and how the fire service benefits from them. Just elaborate a little more.
Well, with the networking, that's my favorite part. So really, I just really think the networking, you're going to get out of it what you put in FEMSA. Okay. So we have the annual meeting. We have hospitality, networking opportunities. You're with each other in classrooms all day learning. And I have learned so much. I'm a small business and I get a billion emails every day about take my product, take my product, take my product. And I don't know these companies. I don't have these relationships with these people. And it's pretty much a crapshoot. And usually I disregard them. When I go to the annual meeting, I'm meeting the people that have the products that I may be interested. I have a certain business model. I'm meeting manufacturers that may have a similar business model as myself, and we can have a conversation. It's the relationships. The fire service, in my opinion, is very relationship driven, which is a little bit unique compared to other industries. You have to have your first responders trusting you in what you're providing for them. You have to trust your manufacturers. Yeah, so there's a lot of trust because it's a safety issue. And to be in front of other people and be able really to have a conversation with them to see, do our products align? Do you have something that I've never even heard of that might be interesting? And we're just chatting about it at the annual meeting. And those speakers and everybody that's there, that these programs that we provide, they spark ideas and they spark. I've sat around with a napkin at the bar and just kind of talking about ideas because of something that a speaker spoke about earlier in the day. So the networking for me has been unbelievable. If you put yourself out there, you're going to meet great people that want to do the same thing you want to do, which is keep first responders safe. And still stay in business. So, and that's the reality of it. And I've gotten a number of opportunities that I don't think I would have come across had I not been at FEMSA, and meet those people and see them. And then you see them again throughout the year at, say, FDIC and trade shows. So there's opportunities where you're walking the floor at FDIC and you see somebody you met over at the annual meeting, like, hey, and you walk over, you talk, you chat, you see what they have. They have their stuff displayed. So it's a nice collaboration, and the networking to me has been very advantageous for my company.
The other part of that is at the annual meeting and during the year, we have groups that get together. We have committees and section groups, and each of those has, a different agenda, right? So we have a group that's for dealers and distributors. We have a group that's for PPE, SCBAs, we have water flow, we have technology. And these groups, you can join, if you're a member of FEMSA, you can join any of those groups. You don't have to be a PPE provider to join the PPE section. You could be a dealer, you could be a manufacturer of some other products, and you just want to learn about PPE. So we have these events, these meetings, annual meetings, and then we have time where you can get together and learn about these things. And it's not a a speech by one member. It's a discussion. We'll throw up a topic and we'll talk about it and banter it around. And it's really wonderful to have the diverse group of manufacturers and dealers and distributors in the room to get different perspectives on these things. So it's really educational in that way. You're building relationships and networking, but you're also learning about the industry in a different way.
And also the challenges that like as a distributor, as a manufacturer, there's challenges. I might not know the best solution. I could sit with other, and I've done this, sit with other distributors and be like, what are you doing as far as insurance? This is my challenge with insurance. Oh, this is how we handled it. And so you learn from other people that do the same thing as you. And that has been an advantageous for me too. Things that I would not even know to look at. A distributor in Wisconsin might have a great idea, and then I could take it back and utilize it in my company. So it also diversifies what you're learning throughout the country.
And ultimately trickles down to your customers, the first responders. So I was wondering also about the data. I know that FEMSA collects a lot of data throughout the year. How is that data used? And where does using that data trickle down to the fire service?
So the data that we collect is really, we understand sort of what PPE is sold in the marketplace. We have our members put data in every quarter, and it's blind. It goes to an accounting firm. The individual manufacturers don't see the data. They just see the results, the totals. And we're just looking at trends in the industry for, is PPE on the rise or on the downturn? Are boots going up or down? Are apparatus going up or down? So those are the kind of things that we see, and it helps us prepare our forecasts to make sure that we're meeting the demand that's out there. If we see the demand rising, then we're looking at orders and making sure we're keeping our backlog full so we can make product that's needed in the marketplace. But it's usually, all the manufacturers that are members here are more than willing to share their information, but we do it in a way that we're not giving out information to the whole industry. We're giving it to an accounting firm, and they're just giving us back summaries, which is really helpful to all of us.
So your organization is a pretty large one. There are a lot of member companies. Talk a little bit about what your website offers in terms of learning more about not only FEMSA but about your member companies as well. Maybe some of the other tools that might be there for the fire service.
Well, we do member spotlight. Oh, sorry, Peter.
No, go ahead.
No, but I was just saying we do member spotlights so people can see who's there. We have webinars and information on there for our members. Peter, you could take over for me, but we do spotlight different manufacturers, distributors, members, and so someone new comes on board, we put an announcement on there letting everyone know, hey, we have a new member, maybe reach out to them. Say, they might be in the same area or a niche of the industry. You might want to reach out to them. So.
Yeah, you can see a list of our members there, so you can see who all the members are and reach out to them. There's also, contacts for our partners, any other organizations that we work with are listed there. We try to give information that's helpful to the members and firefighters in general if they need information. We keep newsletters and things like that announce, new people being hired and things like that are available. We also, in the industry, if you're a member, you can post jobs up there as well. So if you have an opening and you need to find a new person to help you in this particular area, you can post a job on our site and people can see that there's an opening there. There's lots of different tools that are up there that help members to get the most out of their membership at FEMSA.
Actually, it helped us a lot too with our last annual meeting, we had a hurricane and weren't able to have the annual meeting. So we were able to do webinars and discussions at our annual meeting on the site, and we were able to then put that information. So for people later on that they want to access it, which was nice.
So your website is a pretty substantial touch point, like you mentioned earlier, Peter. That the UIGs are one way that your customers and the fire service might not know that there is that touch point with FEMSA. Are there any other besides the UIGs and the website? Are there any other touch points that the fire service should be aware of regarding FEMSA?
I think our Government Affairs Committee, GAC, is really important. I think that's one of the major things that we do. And we work with all the other firefighters, organizations to go to DC once a year and talk to our congressmen and our senators and make sure that our message is the same. So we get together, we talk before these meetings, and we understand what the message is, and we deliver the same message the firefighters are delivering as far as what they need. And it's really helpful. And I think it's, very impactful that the whole industry comes and has one message. And it's been, FEMSA has been very involved in that process to make sure that we're getting all the information from all different parties and we're delivering one good message to the government to help us the best way they can.
So that's another item there that you are in terms of benefiting the fire service. You are acting as an advocate in that example. You're acting as an advocate for the fire service.
Yes, definitely. I mean, our in general, we really are supporting the fire service the best way we can. Right? We're supporting the manufacturers to the fire service. We're supporting the end users and the first responders. And the best way, going to Washington and helping make sure funding is in the right place and that they understand the importance of these firefighters is obviously important to us as manufacturers, but it's also important to those first responders. So we have a dual mission here. Obviously, we want to make our companies better and stronger, but we also want to keep the fire service strong for the long term.
Well, we're just about to the end of our time together here today. We are going to, this was really sort of like the introduction of FEMSA to those who might not be aware of it, but we are going to get into some as we move along. This is going to be a monthly podcast. We're going to be, touching on things about standards, some of those changes, some of the, especially on the PPE side, there's been a lot of consolidation in NFPA of a variety of standards. Some already know that we've seen the NFPA 1900. We've seen 1970 has been coming along. So we are going to get into a number of those things. We're going to do some deeper dives and really get into the nitty gritty of some of those things. But before I let you go, I'll let you both just kind of just offer any other general comments, any final thoughts on FEMSA, it's how it benefits the fire service, et cetera. Karen, I'll start with you.
Well, I think the main thing is the website is a great source of information, no doubt. But what really makes us thrive and grow is our annual meeting. And our annual meeting changes locations every year. Unfortunately, we're not doing Florida for a couple more years after the hurricane. But this year in September, we're going to be in Charleston. Then we've looked at Kentucky, Milwaukee, and it brings everyone together. And that's where I feel a huge benefit is for the association, that networking, those speakers. We have speakers that talk about industry, and we have speakers that talk about leadership, organization. So we cover a lot of bases. With our diverse group, it's sometimes a little bit of a challenge because how do you find something that encompasses everybody's interests? But we work really hard. We have surveys that ask feedback. It's not just, this is our meeting. It's all members. It's our meeting, all the members. And we take their feedback. We try to incorporate what they need, what their needs are. Peter was talking about the sessions. So it's a little bit more directed towards your needs and wants. I don't know. I've been doing this for quite a few years, and there's not a lot of time, but I do see the strong benefits of investing my time in this for the annual meeting and the resources that I have. I have people reach out to me all the time. Karen, can FEMSA give me this? Can FEMSA do this? I'm like, are you a member? and I tease, but there is a lot of good information and great relationships with first responders and industry people. So I've been very fortunate to utilize this association, and it's been very, very beneficial for my company.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to say it, Karen. For me, I got involved in FEMSA in 2008, and 8 or 9, and understanding the benefits that I've gained from that it's amazing. I've made so many contacts at various companies and learned so much about the industry that helped my company prosper. It's really been super important. Today, if I need something, if I'm a manufacturer of protective clothing, right? If I need a zipper or if I need a snap, I have 5 different companies I can call and say, hey, I'm in a bind. Can you help me? And it's that kind of a group, right? We'll help each other. We're competitors, but we'll help each other because our goal is to support first responders. So if I need something to get an order out to a first responder, they're going to assist me. And I would do the same for them. And I think that's how the industry is. And our organization, FEMSA, is really promoting that and helping that grow.
Perfect. I think that's a great way to sum it up, especially with that. FEMSA is a collection of fire service suppliers, but all of those suppliers have the best interest of the first responders at the top of their list of things to deliver. So deliver to. So I think that's a really perfect way to wrap this up. Again, this has been Chris Mc Loone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Today we've been learning a bit about FEMSA. If there are topics you would like me to contact FEMSA about that you need some information on, FEMSA has a host of members who can help us out. So please let me know at chris.mcloone@clarionevents.com. If there's a topic that we haven't hit on overall that you'd like us to discuss, again, please let me know. And if you would like to view or listen to any of the podcasts that we've already done, they are all available at fireapparatus.com/podcast. So again, this has been Chris Mc Loone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Have a good one and stay safe. Thanks again, Peter and Karen.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Chris.